I want to thank Troy Cates for commenting on my Bunny Boots is ridiculously wrong on the law and military bases video. Troy Cates brings up Terry stops, and he uses Hayes v. Florida and Manuel v. City of Joliet, Illinois, when he's talking about Terry stop. And I just want to point out there is a difference between a detention as far as a Terry stop is concerned and a pretrial detention. In Hayes v. Florida, they went to his house. Here we go. Arriving at the petitioner's house, the officer spoke to the petitioner on his front porch. When he expressed reluctance voluntarily to accompany them to the station for fingerprinting, one of the investigators explained that they would therefore arrest him. Petitioner, in the words of the investigator, then blurted out he'd rather go with the officers to the station rather than be arrested. When the police take you to the police station, you are most likely arrested, especially if there's any evidence of coercion. Any evidence of coercion, and you're most likely under the functional equivalent of arrest. It requires probable cause, and we're going to read about it in... Here we are. There is no doubt that at some point in the investigative process, police procedures can qualitatively and quantitatively be so intrusive with respect to a suspect's freedom of movement and privacy interests as to trigger the full protection of the 4th and 14th Amendments. When you are detained in a Terry stop, that doesn't trigger the full protections of the 4th and 14th Amendments. They don't require probable cause for a Terry stop. It's a short, de minimis detention. So, yeah. And our view continues to be that the line is crossed when the police, without probable cause or a warrant, see probable cause or a warrant, that is the prerequisite for an arrest. So they're looking at this under an arrest standard. And our view continues to be that the line is crossed when the police, without probable cause or a warrant, forcibly remove a person from his home or other place where he's entitled to be and transport him to the police station. So it doesn't matter if they move you 10 feet, or if they take you to the back of the police car, or if they take you on a quick drive-by past a victim so the victim can ID you. That wouldn't necessarily be an arrest. But if they take you to the police station, there is a high probability that it's the functional equivalent of an arrest. Where he is detained, so you're seeing the word detained there and you're thinking a Terry stop, a Terry detention, but this is an arrest detention. Although briefly for investigative purposes, we adhere to the view that such seizures, at least where not under judicial supervision, are sufficiently like arrests to invoke the traditional rule that arrests may constitutionally be made only on probable cause. So they're looking at this as an arrest. It's not a Terry stop. They also did basically the same analysis under Davis v. Mississippi, where a bunch of Negro youths were brought down to the police station for questioning and fingerprinting. The petitioners was questioned and fingerprinted and released. Thereafter, they drove him to Jackson and confined him in jail overnight, etc., etc. That was an arrest. It required probable cause. Then Manuel v. Joliet. In Manuel v. Joliet, Manuel was held for 7 weeks after he was arrested. He was arrested for possession of narcotics. A judge did a probable cause hearing, found there was probable cause for the arrest. So he was held in jail for 7 weeks awaiting trial. Now they call this a pretrial detention. And for further detention. Manuel was brought before a county court judge later that day for determination of whether there was probable cause for the charge as necessary for further detention. Again, if you see the word detention, it doesn't necessarily mean Terry stop. He was arrested. He was arrested for possession of narcotics. He was brought before a judge. The judge found, based on the police testimony, that there was probable cause for the arrest and further detention awaiting trial. So this is an arrest. So they're looking at probable cause. So he was brought to determine whether it was probable cause. Anytime you see probable cause, that's an arrest. So just because you see detention doesn't mean that that Terry stop is involved. And Freeman, it doesn't really matter if Freeman consented to it. The police officers here, even if they tried to say he consented to it, it would still be coercive to the point that it would trigger, like in Hayes v. Florida. It doesn't matter that he didn't really have a choice. If you don't really have a choice, it doesn't matter if you say you consent, it's too coercive. But they did have probable cause, or at least they had a reasonable belief that they had probable cause. I don't see that any judge is going to find that they lacked probable cause or lacked a reasonable belief. You got to remember that just because a person is found not guilty of a crime, or maybe all the elements weren't there for the crime that the officer thought that he was arresting for, that doesn't make the initial arrest unlawful. All of these go back, all these Fourth Amendment cases go back to a reasonableness standard. Did the officer reasonably believe that he had probable cause? That's really what the question is. Not did the officer have probable cause, but did he have a reasonable belief that he had probable cause? He may have misunderstood the statute. He may have believed that something was evidence of it that really wasn't, like a vitamin bottle full of pills. He may think that that looks like drugs to me, I believe I have probable cause. He may have made a reasonable mistake. It's a reasonableness standard. I'm not trying to defend the police. Like in Manuel v. Joliet, the police were they were assuming everything is as they claimed. The police were just dirty, trying to manufacture evidence on this guy. In Davis v. Mississippi, the police were dirty. In Hayes v. Florida, the police were dirty. But in this case, I'm not prepared to go there, because I think the police reasonably believed that they had him on correct charges. So anyway, thanks for watching. I try to keep these short. I don't like to make the hour and a half long videos like this, especially when I'm not entirely sober. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thank you very much, Troy Cates, especially for the citations. I appreciate it, and have a great day.